What's popping? What's popping? Welcome to the Unveiled Mindset Reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to do another part of Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay. So,
Part 3, make sure you check out part 1 and 2. Make
yep,
sure you also check out the podcast.
yep, your boy and your girl's back. Let's go.
Let's
Y'all
go.
ready?
Yes.
Okay. So we just
5 years old, I was in front of 10,000 people giving a performance with a full suit and tie on. You know what I mean? So it came full circle for my life. I knew that the applause and the giving of information and laughs and truth to people somehow benefited them and also benefited you. And yeah, so when they would ask me what I wanted to be, everything that I would say that I wanted to be was something that didn't exist. And they would never give me credit for it because I needed to say a doctor or a lawyer, but that's not what I wanted to be.
So your parents weren't as supportive as you would have hoped because you were wanting to be things when you got older that they had no knowledge of, or it didn't exist at the time.
No, it wasn't that. It was. I'm saying I'm almost 100 years old right now, but if we go outside right now, I can run a 4.340 or sub. I can do a 4.16 if I'm.
Oh, there's Jimmy John's across the street. We can order a sub.
But
you've been on the submarine. That what you sub?
So back then it was even great.
Why did he just completely disregard
because Katt
his comment?
That is either Katt is being a comedian or he just being a comedian, because that's a lie.
What do you mean?
Katt is like what, 40?
Yeah.
45 years old, maybe.
Yes.
Close to 50, maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
He's not running no 4.41, bro. That means you're running a 40-yard and what is it? What is it? No. 440. 441. That's what like running backs run in a 40-yard at combines.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's super fast, like super athletic. He's not running that. He's not running that.
I see.
He's exaggerating. He says he's 100 years old. That's how I know he's joking.
Yeah.
So you got this guy that all the coaches want to play.
Man, Katt, don't do that.
Hold on, because I'm 5'5" in the 5th grade. I've been this size my whole life. Like there was a portion of school where I was one of the big dudes. Like as soon as everybody caught their growth spurt, I was out of there. But I'm saying I was a competitive individual. My father was an athlete.
I can see that.
Like no, I've been 145 pounds my whole career. That's why I never bothered when they said, your Katt's on drugs. I knew, how you gonna prove that? My body is a temple.
I've been the same size since I was 10.
Like, what do you? Yeah, like I haven't changed off this pivot foot. This has always been who I was before stand up or anything. But it was an interesting childhood. I appreciate my parents, even though I couldn't live within the religious frameworks of what they had set up. But that was more not wanting to live a double life and not want to embarrass my family. You know what I mean?
Because I read where a form of punishment for you is that they would take books, because you mentioned you were such a voracious reader. And a form of punishment was when they would take the books for, because you could read fluently. You told me how at like 3 or 4 years old, you could read, not just a little child's book, but you could read.
Well, I'm saying when we go to Haiti to do missionary work, understand that my mother and my father, nobody that's there with us speaks French. And it speaks Creole and reads French. So I'm in charge of everything, from the housing to the cars to the gardener. Like I'm saying, so I'm not just reading, I'm reading in multiple languages. Like
how old are you?
I'm probably reading 3,000 books a year from the time.
Katt. He lying. Katt. That man said he was reading 3,000 books a year. Bro, come on now. What? That's crazy. And then he said he was reading multiple language. So was he like, in Haiti for a minute?
I mean, the multiple language could be doable.
No, yeah, it
It's
could be
easy
doable.
for kids to learn languages, but
But how
yeah.
long was he in Haiti? That's the question, because
No, he could have been learning the languages like at school, and then whenever they go to Haiti, he's the only one who can actually speak the language to help coordinate everything.
so when he said he was speaking multiple language and when he was in Haiti, I'm guessing he was also speaking French.
Yeah, he's saying that he's the only one who spoke French and to be able to like coordinate stuff.
Creole too?
Went.
I think French is the official language over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Creole is like
I don't know.
That's broken French.
It's a different version.
Because they would say chien dog.
Yeah.
Which chien in French is dog, and dog is just dog.
Yeah, it's their language.
Yeah.
Which derives from French.
Okay, maybe broken French.
I'm that I'm 8 years old to the time that I'm 12. No fiction books at all. I'm only reading nonfiction.
You could drive. At 12, you received a full scholarship to the National Science Academy in Dayton, Ohio, but you failed, so you would become ineligible. Why didn't you want to take that opportunity?
I didn't see it as an opportunity. When I got in there, all the students were wearing lab coats, and it seemed very confined and restricted, and nobody seemed like they were having fun. It just seemed like everybody was smart. I didn't want that. That wasn't what I was signing up for at all. And plus, I thought that Jesus was my big homie. So you know how you get a story about a dude joined the gang and you get a big homie, right? Mm-hmm. Like at this particular point in my life, my thought is that the Bible is the greatest book that's ever been written.
Okay.
That it houses the truth, and that it gives you this story of Jesus, and that I'm supposed to be like him.
Okay.
So it's already in my head that as soon as I get 13, I'm leaving.
You at 13, you don't only like, okay, mom, I'm moving out. You moved from Ohio to Florida on your own. You weren't afraid. I mean, you like, did you?
Hold on.
So what were you going to do when you got to Florida?
Don't say I wasn't afraid. There's no such thing as a human being of not being afraid.
Okay.
There are certain human beings that understand that being afraid in no way stops you from doing what you got to do.
Okay.
So I was afraid, but I couldn't be that afraid because I knew what had happened with Jesus. I knew how it worked. Cars to the gardener, like I'm saying. So I'm not just reading; I'm reading in multiple languages. Like
how old are you?
I'm probably reading 3,000 books a year from the time that I'm 8 years old to the time that I'm 12. No fiction books at all. I'm only reading nonfiction.
You could drive. At 12, you received a full scholarship to the National Science Academy in Dayton, Ohio, but you failed, so you would become ineligible. Why didn't you want to take that opportunity?
I didn't see it as an opportunity. When I got in there, all the students were wearing lab coats, and it seemed very confined and restricted, and nobody seemed like they were having fun. It just seemed like everybody was smart. I didn't want that. That wasn't what I was signing up for at all. And plus, I thought that Jesus was my big homie. So you know how you get a story about a dude joined the gang and you get a big homie, right? Mm-hmm. Like at this particular point in my life, my thought is that the Bible is the greatest book that's ever been written.
Okay.
That it houses the truth, and that it gives you this story of Jesus, and that I'm supposed to be like him.
Okay.
So it's already in my head that as soon as I get 13, I'm leaving.
You at 13, you don't only like, okay, mom, I'm moving out. You moved from Ohio to Florida on your own. You weren't afraid. I mean, you like, did you?
Hold on.
So what were you going to do when you got to Florida?
Don't say I wasn't afraid. There's no such thing as a human being of not being afraid.
Okay.
There are certain human beings that understand that being afraid in no way stops you from doing what you got to do.
Okay.
So I was afraid, but I couldn't be that afraid because I knew what had happened with Jesus. I knew how it worked out. I knew that I wasn't in the wrong with how I was feeling, and I knew that I didn't have any bad intentions in it.
Right.
So I trusted God that it would work out.
Why Florida?
Because if you're raised in Ohio, the one thing on your list is, I'm gonna get away from snow, and I'm gonna get as far. I want to tell me the place. I literally went to a truck stop and I asked all the truck drivers where they was going. And there was one guy going to California and there was one guy going to Florida. And they told me how long it was going to take. And so that's why I ended up in Miami. Because
how'd you get there? You caught a bus?
No, I just told you. I was at the truck stop.
So you hitchhiked?
I didn't hitchhike. I got in the back of the dude's 18-wheeler, me and my Rottweiler puppy and my suitcase. Yeah, because I probably had $2,500 on me. Like I was shoveling snow and cutting grass. Like I always had pockets full of money.
When did you make the decision that you were going to leave Ohio and go somewhere? And it ended up being Florida. So, but when did you know that you were leaving Dayton, Ohio, going to Florida?
In my father and I's last interaction, somebody could have not made it. And we both understood that was all bad.
What was the disagreement about?
If you say that my family is very religious, just say I'm not. So anything that I'm going to do is going to fall out of the guidelines.
Right.
But I'm not going to let you tell me what I'm going to be, especially if what you're saying is wrong. I can't condone wrong. And if I find out that something is wrong and I tell you it's wrong and you don't back me, that's what it is.
Even as a young child, you were willing to tell your parents that some of the things that you're saying doesn't coincide with what I've been reading in the Bible.
No, very simply. Don't try to disfellowship me for sexual acts and I'm a virgin. Sorry, God don't make mistakes. You don't get 2 times to fuck me over. What do you mean you went to God and he told you I was guilty? You just lied on God. So long. That's it. There's no conversation. Deuces.
Wait.
That's what it was.
That's when you made the decision. After
Yes.
that conversation right there, you say, "No, I can't live under this roof."
It wasn't a conversation. It was an altercation. In the altercation, I love my father. My father loved me. But we are 2 men at it. It'll never be the same again. You can't sleep comfortably around me. And I can't sleep comfortably around you.
How similar are you to your father?
I don't know. He's a great man. I'm saying
because it seems like y'all butted heads.
Right, but I'm saying that generally happens with a father-son dynamic. It was just that religious relationships are always difficult in families. They always are.
Before it got to the point, because the dynamic, he's father, you're son. Before that dynamic and you step up on his level and you challenge him, you felt it was best for you to leave.
No. I'm not being challenged. I'm being beat to death.
Oh, he was abusive.
I didn't say that. I said we were in an altercation.
I see what you did there. I saw what you did there, Katt.
Yeah.
I saw what you did. You was in an altercation. You didn't say you lost. You said you was in an altercation.
I have no idea what he's talking about. But
What it sounds like, based on what he's saying, I don't know if what he's giving examples are just examples or if it's actuality. But what it sounds like he's saying is there was some sort of accusation of him, as in Katt, potentially being blamed for doing something he didn't do that involved some sort of like sexual act that wasn't a good thing, and he said he didn't do it, and he knows he didn't do it, and so he and his father then got into it, and it was physical. So it sounded like his father probably tried to Like
Yeah, I
hit him.
understand that part. I'm just saying when he's saying, oh, like he was abusive, he wasn't. But
It sounds like his father was trying to hit him,
altercation.
but
Yeah.
then he hit back. You know how usually when little kids, like they get a beating, but then they don't hit their parents back. It sounded like it was he actually.
So basically,
came
him
back.
and his dad, they see eye to eye. You know, the religion aspect also, and then whatever altercation happened, and then that's then
They had a fight. Yeah.
I in no way gave you the impression that I won anything. I'm the one leaving. I'm out of bounds. This is his house.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as I'm going to be under his roof, there are certain things that I'm going to have to do.
Right.
And the only way that's going to change is either this or that. And I'm saying I had two younger brothers. Like I'm not an unreasonable person. Like I don't have any mental issues whatsoever, despite what they lead people to believe. You know, I make pretty good decisions.
Were you not? So how was their relationship with your father? Were you not afraid to leave them?
Well, I asked because it went all the way to the actual department, so it was actually going to be something. And when I asked them if they could just make sure that my brothers didn't get separated and what have you, they said they couldn't make those type of guarantees, that they weren't really sure what would happen if this went down. And so part of leaving was the hope that it would be okay for them, because none of them experienced what I experienced. I'm saying I'm the oldest. It's a lot riding on me. I'm supposed to at least religiously hold down the family's name at this household. Right. You know what I mean?
How much older are you than the baby and the knee baby?
Like a lot older. Like if I'm
12, 13.
Yeah, they're 5. And in Pampers.
Wow. You go to Florida. You tell the story. I've heard you were homeless, and somebody else told the story, said they were homeless, and you said they hijacked your story. Now I don't.
At 13, I shouldn't have to tell you I'm homeless. I'm in Miami, Florida. I have no family members in Florida. I couldn't buy a house if I wanted to. I couldn't get an apartment.
I think that's a shot at Steve Harvey, homeless story.
If I wanted to, I don't have a credit history. Like, this is not a stretch for me to say that I'm homeless. I'm living in a park in Coconut Grove. The park still exists to this day. For 8 hours a day, I would get up and go to the library and study for 8 hours a day to increase my education. And then I would leave out of there and go to the marina and steal car radios and make $2,000 almost daily. Like I had a routine.
So you really could have played that old thief in Santa Claus. You could have played it.
No, the Santa Claus wasn't a thief. The Santa Claus, you can't tell me. I read the script. Ricky Smiley told you he didn't read the script. The Santa Claus was a crackhead. He just had that outfit on. That's what I couldn't have played.
Okay.
Like I couldn't have played a black guy that got raped in the bathroom.
Right. So at any point in time, you're like, man, I made a mistake, man. I should have stayed my butt in Ohio, man, because this ain't what I signed up for.
I didn't experience anything once I left home that I hadn't signed up for. If anything, it saved my life. Me being homeless for that small period of time allowed me to see all of the people that were in that situation, and to see that these were lawyers and doctors and teachers, and that these people were white and black and Asian and Indian. And the only thing that all of these homeless people had in common was they made a bad decision and aligned themselves with drugs. And I interviewed them all. What drug? And guess what, Shannon? Nobody had a great story. Nobody had a great story of what meth had done for them, what crack had done for them, what cocaine had done for them, what heroin had done for them, what speed had done for them. Nobody had them stories. Everybody's story was, I had my life together. And then I decided to do this dumb thing And I lost my wife. I lost my house. I lost my cars. I lost my reputation. And now I'm now out here sucking penis in
What?
the woods. What? Talk about scared straight. You ain't got to worry about me. If it ain't weed or nicotine, you won't see me touching it. I don't want no parts. I done seen what these things can do to people. Anything that take over your free will is the devil itself.
Have you ever thought about what your life would have been had you stayed in Dayton, Ohio?
No, that's like asking somebody that's in the NBA for 14 years, like, what would have happened if you didn't come to the NBA? Oh, I shudder to think. I thought it was what I was made for. I thought it was what I was built for. Anybody that knows me will tell you that when they first met Katt Williams, when I was Katt in the Hat, and they tell these stories about how he changed his name. Look, the truth of the matter is Disney sued me. Yeah, I was Katt in the Hat. They sent me a cease and desist letter, and I'm not even making $25,000 a year. And the mega company Disney has sent me a cease and desist telling me I can't use any variations of that name. Fine, I'm Katt Williams. That's all that happened. I have been this same product the entire time. They will tell you when they first saw me doing stand-up, I was just like this. This is what I bring. This is my style.
When did you know were you always funny? Did you always want to be a comedian?
No.
Did you stumble on a comedianship?
No, I loved what they did. And so I studied them, all of them. I studied all of the white comedians because I wanted to know, why is Monty Python funny? Why is Don not so talented? I wanted to know, what is George Carlin's thing? Like, so I studied all of the comedy masters, regardless of the field, because I loved to laugh. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that these people were making a great living at doing this. I thought this is just what they did. They tell jokes. They're funny people, but I loved the craft. And that's why when I got into the craft, I thought it was my obligation to make sure that I kept writing new material so much that it forced these comedians to stop doing the set they've been doing for 10 years and keep writing some new stuff. And I knew that if I could get that to take on, that most of these bums would have to just quit comedy because they can't keep up. They're not going to keep writing an hour worth of material.
Right.
I've written an hour worth of material 19 times.
Yeah, a lot of comedians, they have like recycled jokes. Like you'll see one video like from like early 2000 or maybe like late 90s, and then somewhere in like 2010 or 2012 you hear the same joke. They'll do a special, and then they will, like, when they go on tour, they do the same joke, which is fine, but over time you got to come up with new materials.
Yeah,
He's Katt Williams, he's been doing that. Bringing out new joke, new special. It's never always the same, and that's the thing about him. Like, his creativity and work ethic have always been there.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
They're not gonna do it. Why? Because they're not creative writers. They want to get somebody else and have them write it and put it together.
So if I'm listening to you correct me if I'm wrong. I think the best thing that ever happened was the internet, because now they have to. Because normally, like you said, you could do a set and you do that set in Kansas City. People ain't heard it in San Francisco. People ain't heard it in Miami.
That's true.
I'm listening to it, but why he just open up the bottle and then pour some in his cup and pour it in Shannon's cup too.
They ain't heard of Detroit in Kansas City. Like you said, you could do a set and you do that set in Kansas City. People ain't heard it in San Francisco. People ain't heard it in Miami. They ain't heard of Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, so forth and so on. Now you do a set, it's on the internet. Somebody heard it. So you can't do a set and make it last 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't allow the regular comic the ability to grow is the real problem. Like, the part of comedy is me taking these jokes in January And by March, I've begun to craft this joke.
Okay.
It's not as simple as it was. When I wrote it, it was just da-da-da-da-da. But now it has the complexities of the fact that I'm having to deliver this to an East Coast audience, a down South audience, a Midwest audience, a Utah audience, a Colorado audience. And so it begins to take on a different complexion because you're having to deliver it to different people.
Okay.
And so this is what sharpens your joke. You then take those sharpened jokes and make a special. Not you just randomly take some. So it's a process. You don't allow them to process if the first time the guy did the joke, now that's his joke and the joke is everywhere. That just sets it up for...
That's a good point. And I didn't think about it that way. And even Shannon, when he asked the question, he's like, do you feel like, you know, with the internet, like it's easy to, because we were looking at it from a lens of they're continuously repeating their jokes and not coming up with new jokes.
Yeah.
But to his point, there needs to be a certain level of repetition where that gives the opportunity for growth. So you're repeating, but you're learning from your mistakes, you're learning from the crowd's reaction and just like growing.
Yeah, but the same joke for 10 years is...
Oh yeah, no, 10 years is different.
Yeah, and I know comedians that does that. Famous ones too.
people to steal.
So how many times must you tell a joke before you master it?
How many times have you had to sleep with a woman before you're done with her? That's not fair. If it's great, never. if it ceases to have usefulness.
Get new ones.
If it's a classic one, yes, but you know, then you can always put that there,
Add
and
new
then,
ones.
but you gotta,
Yeah.
So it has been spoken, right?
I read that you was raised in Florida. You had some help, some ladies of the night.
No.
That's not true.
No, that whole story doesn't take place in Florida. That story takes place in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
So after I'm in Florida, I then join, I try to join the Marine Corps and they won't accept me because I'm too young, and I've lied and told them I'm 16 and my family's moving down and I don't have my ID, but it's coming. And so they let me go to the boot camp. That's not going to work now. Okay. So I've learned that lesson. So then I get this job selling stuff door to door. Across the country. And so I've been to all 50 states. Again, I'm 14 years old. So I did that. While I'm doing that, one of the places I'm in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I've decided I'm going to stay here because of meeting these ladies that you're talking about and that situation. I don't know at the time why that's important in my life or why it's something I should be doing or any of that. But now later on, it certainly helps me in formulating Money Mike for Friday After Next.
Right.
And a pimp named Slickback for the Boondocks.
Oklahoma, so Service.
When he talked ladies of the night, prostitutes?
I have no idea. I guess that's what Shannon's alluding to.
Yeah, and he was a pimp.
Well, no, there's a character called in the Boondocks, I think that he played
a pimp named Slipback.
Yeah,
and then the other one, but he said he was inspired by this, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, let you see.
Cisco, Oklahoma, Sacramento. From Florida, you moved to the West Coast. So you traveling. When did you set up shop on the West Coast? How old were you then?
So I guess I'm 18 or younger. And I, once I have a child, I realized that I can't. It's a lot of things that I could use to make money that now is a no-go. So anything with street aspirations that I might have thought about pursuing or being good at, I now am a single parent and I gotta redo this thing. So I need comedy to really work out for me. Right. And me and God go into extreme conversation where I'm explaining to him that I'm a crash out dummy if he don't send me a lifeline. Like I need something I can hold on to. Before I had left Florida, I did stand up one time because we was trying to get in the club. I didn't have ID. So I said I was a comedian. They ended up having me do 5 minutes. But I kept that in my head that I had done that. When we get to Oklahoma, they're having a competition for stand-up. And if you win, you get to go out on the road with Jeff Foxworthy and Dan Whitney, who is Larry the Cable Guy, and Richard Jenny, and these great comics. You get to open for them. And once I did that, I realized, okay, as a comedian, I'm like way behind schedule. I done started this too late. All the funny guys are already funny and known names. Like, how am I going to progress? So I realized that I do better with a white audience than I do with a black audience. And I'm not sure why that's occurring, but the white audience likes me more. That's interesting. So when I moved to Sacramento, it's because Sacramento has a white and a black audience almost 50-50. That's almost the makeup of Sacramento. So I lived in Sacramento for 2 years until I get to the point where I am equally as funny if the room is black as I am if the room is white. That's not enough. Now I need to be one of the good ones when it comes to black comics. So now I have to move to Oakland, and that's what lands me in Oakland for 3 years. Once I have dominated male black comedy in Oakland to my liking, now I'm prepared to go to Los Angeles now. Now I know you can't throw me any curveballs. If it's a white audience, if it's a black audience, no matter what they are, I'm prepared to deal with all of the audiences.
Do you write jokes according to the audience that you're going to be in front of, or is your joke universal?
Well, in the beginning, part of my framework is that I'm tailoring every show to this audience. And that's how I was able to show my range and show that I was better than my competitors, is that I'm Katt Williams, but I was still doing clean comedy. So I was still going to churches and doing 45 minutes of stand-up at the church with no curse words, no sex, drug material, no none of that, just straight stand-up. And then I was doing everything else. And at
the regular club.
Yeah, that was the range, is that when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So that's how I started. But as you begin to get better, you begin to be able to speak to your entire fan base. And that's really what's been helpful, is that I've been having the same conversation with my fan base for 12 comedy specials.
Is that what set Katt Williams apart? Is your range? Is that you can do a comedy, do 45 minutes in the church. I can go to a comedy club in front of 250, or I can go into an arena with 15,000. That's range, because everybody can't do that, Katt.
Well, if that's what range is called, then yeah, it's range. But I like the people I'm talking to. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like it can't be condescending, because I'm talking to my white male friend when I'm telling that white joke. When I'm talking about this joke about this black lady, I know that black lady. That's who I'm talking to. I'm speaking to this fan base that I've been speaking to from the beginning. I already told them what I was on when I first came in. I told them they was gonna come after me. They was gonna cancel me. They was gonna say terrible things about me and try to mess my life up. I said that coming into stand up. I'm saying it in my
So you knew it was going to be.
It has to be. I know I'm going into the belly of the beast. How could I be naive? I know that I'm going into Satan's playground, but I'm trying to be so good that you got to bring me in so close that I can see who's doing what and what's going on in there.
In San Francisco, you joined the Nation.
I was never in San Francisco. I was in Oakland.
You was in Oakland. Did you join the Nation? Is that?
Yeah, Honorable Minister Farrakhan and I have an extremely close relationship. He refers to me as one of his sons. So, yeah, I spent a particular period of time. Let me explain.
Yes.
Because my particular background was already religious and super.
You know who Farrakhan is? He's the leader of the Nation of Islam, I believe. And I guess that's why you ask him, did you join a nation?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just probably going to get into the religious aspect of that,
Mm-hmm.
which is like Islam and Louis Farrakhan.
Super strict, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find out about other religions by reading about them. I went to their religion. I I I don't want to learn from Jewish people from outside. I want to be in a synagogue. I don't want to learn about Muslim people from. I want to be in a mosque. I don't want to hear about the Baptist or the Pentecostal. I want to go to their church and see. And so that was the religious discovery that I was on through that period in my life.
When did you know you were funny?
Good question.
Probably about 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years ago.
So you didn't think as a child, because obviously you said the very structured background, your family was very.
He's 52. 10 years ago, he was 42. So you're not telling me after all of his great illustrious like career, now you telling us that
His
Katt is funny.
sarcasm. Yeah.
It's like he speak the truth, well, he speak his mind, and also exaggerate a little bit and then make it funny.
Right. But then you're like, what part was true? What part is a lie? What part, I mean,
You-
the
you
one
know-
that's
you
a lie
know.
is definitely exaggerated.
Yeah.
But
And like, even if it's not a lie, he's just stretching the truth.
yeah.
Religious. So obviously you didn't get an opportunity. And
yeah, like I never did a talent show. I was never in any extracurricular activities. I was never in drama. I was never in band camp. I was never a Boy Scout.
And you didn't stay in school long enough to get funny because you dropped.
You understand? You understand? So there was no I don't. I don't tolerate high school games. I didn't go to high school. I don't know how most of the games they think I play, I'm not even aware of.
But Katt, for you to get on stage, and like I said, a lot of people, like a lot of comedians, I had a few here, they're like, okay, I told jokes to get girls, I told jokes to, get people to laugh at someone else.
Yeah.
But you is like, you say you did comedy one time in Florida. And you had this other opportunity, like in Oklahoma, that they were going to take you out if you won the talent show. You was going to go on the road with these well-known comedians.
And I did.
But I'm just saying, how in Florida at 13, 14 years of age, you like 16, I can do that.
Well, because I knew that there were a lot of other things I could do. Like when I looked at drug dealers, I thought I could do that.
Yeah.
You
but that's
easy. So right. And who doesn't like that?
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make it. But now that I got to do it on this side, but no, your question was, when did I think I was funny? I never was my biggest fan. To this day, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm a fan of comedy. I like great comedians. Like I like Chappelle. I like Patrice O'Neal. Like I like the greats of comedy because I do. Like I like Ron White. I like Bill Engvall. Like I know comics. Like people that did the craft, they raised me. I was touring with Steve Marmel and Richard Jenny and real journeymen. Mm-hmm. So my comedy upbringing was standard. I thought you had to work all night, every night, all around the country, and you had to write jokes, and that you were trying to write jokes that other people weren't writing, and that your job was to be funnier. Like people that know me will tell you I've been on this. Like I had a list of all the Black comedians that were more famous than me. There was 300 of them on the list, and I had to be able to cross them all out before I could make it to the next level, before I felt like I was funny enough to do that. And so I appreciate what competition does for sports and for my particular sport. And comedy is a sport.
What gave you the confidence that you could get on stage?
You remember I was 5 years old on stage.
Okay. So performing in front of people was no problem.
But I was reiterating God's word at that point. Oh. Now, I just have to make sure that the content is good. If the content is good, what part can I not do? I'm a vessel. Mm-hmm. He's given me these gifts to be able to do certain things. So I just want to utilize them in my craft. That's all.
Do you remember your first set?
Mm-hmm.
How long? 5-10 minutes?
No. I think 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Standing ovation, boos, some applause, some jeers.
No, none of that. They applauded like I was a professional at it. But now looking back, I understand, because you got to understand they were all thinking, he don't even look old enough to be in here. And we don't have any black guys that live in this town.
Right.
Where did he come from? And then he gets up there, and for 3 minutes, he talks about the fact that he is the entire black community.
Right.
And he is as disappointed in them. It looked like they looking for where the rest of them is. And so is he. And that was his set. But I understood from that point that the truth is really the commodity, and the fact that we are all individuals and all separate and all our own islands, but not in real life. In real life, it's only 5 or 6 different types of people, and you're going to see them everywhere that you go. And all my enemies all look the same in the eyes, whether it's Faison, Wanda, Aries, Spears, they all look like...
Man, what you got against Wanda Sykes? You think I don't remember that?
Sir, Wanda Sykes and Wanda Smith are 2 separate people.
I mean, Wanda Smith.
And I had only said one name, sir.
Wanda Sykes
I'm
is
cursed.
amazing. I love Wanda.
And I agree.
I love Wanda. That's my girl.
Mine
But
as well.
I remember on the radio, you went on a radio interview. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Atlanta.
Right.
And you came on there with seemingly good intentions. And she attacked you.
It wasn't just that part. It was the fact that before I go in there, she has a conversation about, okay, now, I just want to talk to you because you just wanted Emmy for the city of Atlanta, and this is in Atlanta, and they just want to hear about the Emmy and hear from you and to thank you for what you did putting the city on.
Right. Okay.
And we won't talk about your kids. We won't talk about jail, no cases. We ain't going to talk about none of that.
Right.
And immediately gets in there and goes the opposite way. You can't flip up on me because you're an inferior comedian. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm never going to call you out of your name. I'm never going to say anything disrespectful to people that look like you. It's a very thin line. I got a call, but this lady is trying to embarrass me in front of a largely homosexual fan base.
He went on a radio show, if I'm not mistaken, with this lady. I think it's Wanda's side or whatever. Based on what he said, I guess she, told him we're gonna talk about your, the Emmy or whatever. And then it took a different tone. There's a whole video that went viral. He destroyed her. But let's continue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why she got canceled. Gay people don't take it kindly that you would, as a derogatory, call me gay. Gay people don't feel like it's derogatory. So why are you trying to shame me with something in a community I don't even belong in? There's no gay people saying I belong over there or been over there.
You did,
but I have no hatred of over there, and how dare you?
You did a number on it, though.
Hey.
You did a number on it. That's legendary.
No, you either believe in karma or you don't. Because I didn't even know any of the stuff that she had done to my fellow comedians until afterwards. I just know that it was a setup.
Right.
And remember, they tried to kill me this same weekend. Not in jokes, with a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm losing my life for participating in something that goes along with my job. Like, it's 2 comedians. What do you mean?
I'm confused.
And the world was okay with it because it was me. Had that happened to anyone else, the world went crazy when Will smacked Chris. This is a person pulling a whole gun on a comedian in the confines of their job. It's really a weird situation when they hate you that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You felt she hated you at that moment because you mentioned that she said it was going to be very professional. Oh,
Did you see that part too? Was there a video of that?
No, I didn't see no video of that.
If anybody has seen a video of this or knows any information, please drop your comments down below because I'm confused.
I think there was an issue. I think it was the lady that he got into it with at the radio station. I think her husband ended up showing up with a gun, and I don't know if that's the one, but I'm not sure. Let's continue.
You won an Emmy. Congratulations. You put the city on. You own for the city. Yada, yada, yada. And now, did she mention anything about the Emmy on camera?
I believe you saw the video and you know that none of that took place. See, the issue is that all the comedians have to come do these radio stations because you have to sell your tickets. And so that means you have to go to the radio station.
Yes.
I don't go to the radio station and I don't make posts to sell tickets. I just don't. So you've not seen me. I'm not here in some subservient position where somebody sent me over.
You here out of the kindness of your heart. You are.
No, I'm saying in the interview situation.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah, and this person knew I wasn't there for that But
how hard, because you have to understand, she is a female. And so you have to be careful. You have to handle her with kid gloves.
Sir. You want to go ahead and take that out? You don't want to be against equality, do you?
No.
What you just said was very unequal, sir.
But
I think maybe you've had enough of this. Because I think I just heard you say that women are not equal and should be treated unequally.
They want to be treated.
You mean as a comedian?
No. Listen, you understand and I understand.
Yeah.
In certain situations, they want to be treated equal. Not all situations.
And what part of what you saw her get?
She deserved everything you gave her.
What part would have been different if she was a man? It would have just been more vicious.
Yeah, that's my point.
I took all the vicious and venom away because I didn't have any. Plus, I understood. I'm not trying to offend black women with short hair. I'm not trying to offend heavyset women. I'm not trying to upset fellow comedians. I'm not trying to do any of that. And I am qualified to be able to do none of that and still eviscerate you because I'm smart enough to know that I need to say that you have gnarled fingers because I know your limited education means you don't know what the word means. So you can't possibly respond to it. You're not sure of the meaning. And I'm going to continue hitting you because this is what comedians do.
Right.
You've been masquerading that you're a comedian too. And that's the fallacy.
So
nobody in boxing fights out of their weight class. If you're a 130 pounder, you don't just show up with the 160 pounders. You stay in your weight class.
Is that what you wanted to do?
No.
That she was out of her league when it came to, because
I didn't want to do any of it.
I know you didn't want to, but once she took it there, did you feel that you had to go there? Oh, you could have said, Wanda, I didn't come here for that. I just want to do the interview. I just want to talk about what happened.
Oh, you misunderstand my job. My job is to be funny. My job is to be funny first. My first job is to be funny. My second job is to be respectful. My third job is to be immaculate and Gaza strip it. That's
okay. So first, I like the fact that when he said he didn't have to be disrespectful to show her like to stand up for himself, right? And just in general, anyone like not having to be disrespectful as in like making fun of anything like directly, but jabbing them in a different way if you need to, like if you're making your point.
Did you hear what he just said?
What?
I gotta be immaculate. I gotta Gaza strip it.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Immaculate and Gaza strip it.
I know some people are gonna take offense to that, but you know, comedian, you know, they always on the edge. They're gonna say things that are like, you know, extreme, but that's what like also make comedian funny. But I know that people are gonna take offense to that, especially with
what's going on
with, you know, Israel and Palestine, what happened to Gaza Strip. I get what he's doing, but this Katt, you know, he's a loose cannon. He's gonna just do what he want to do, say what he want to say. At the end of the day, he's a comedian, and I know he doesn't mean like try to like, you know, or condone any violence. Is just trying to make a point, but at the same time, you just know what people are affected by that. So, but let's continue.
That's non-political. I'm saying if you do it, you let a terrorist accidentally touch over here, and I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. It'll literally be rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Why? Because that's why you should mind your business. This is what...
Yo, it's funny, right? Turn it into rubble, bomb after bomb. And I don't even think he meant to do this, but it sounds genius. Listen to it one more time. And
It'll literally be rubble on top of rubble and I'll still be bombing. Why?
Rubble on top of rubble, I'll still be bombing?
Because that's why you should mind your business.
That's why you should mind your business. Rubble after rubble, bomb. He mentioned Gaza Strip. He also said terrorists that also all have to do with, like, you know, some like sort of explosion, especially the bomb. And you have, like, mind your business. And you know, like, you know what a landmine is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what it does when you step on it. It explode. I don't know if that's what he meant to say, but it rhymes, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still be bombing. Why? Because that's why you should mind your business. This is what F around and find out is about.
Right.
That's not what he probably was trying to say, but that's what I was just hearing in my head.
Have you ever been booed, Katt?
Yes. Yeah. I have.
What was that feeling like? Did it like want to give up? Because because when you have, I don't know how early it was in your career. Obviously, it hadn't been I don't think it's in the last decade because you've been immaculate.
Have you ever dropped a pass?
I have. I've been booed too.
You know the little segment between everything is fine and I got it, and then you noticing where it is now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that. The thing about, as a comedian, the audience's opinion is the only opinion that matters, not you, the writer, none of that. And so I don't think any comedian has ever been booed unnecessarily either.
They deserve it.
Oh yeah. I'm saying what do they say when a guy shoots the air ball in the NBA? They say air ball to make sure everybody knows. But again, he still got to get back on D.
Right.
Like the game didn't end. He don't get to throw his hands up and sulk.
Right.
That's supposed to be used as a learning experience. Most comedians don't get booed enough. I mean, this is how you end up with a Micheal Blackson, who's a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay, this guy is mad at me. All I did was give him the best advice of his life. Remember, he was wearing dirty dashikis, and I told him he needed to dress to be in the position that he's trying to say that he's in. And if you're the African king of comedy, sir, there's actually comedians in Africa doing comedy. If you're going to say that, you got to go to Africa and get a school, dude. Everybody you got to put in some work. And these guys, they take my advice, they change their whole persona, and then they hate me for it. And generally, I'm just too big to comment or make a statement about it or do a live or any of that. But
Bro, Katt is an absolute, like, genius, bro. When it comes to this comedy, like, Shaq Value is great. And his chain, I think that's it. It's a woke. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I can't tell.
But yeah. He said Micheal Blackson. It's true, right? Part of it's true. Micheal Blackson, like, on interviews on Vlad TV, he do a lot of Vlad TV interviews. His accent just goes away, and then when he's doing a movie,
and like, I think wasn't it from that Repo movie or something like that? Like,
it was a show,
in the day?
him and Master P, but he's mostly known for being on Friday. The I Can't Get Jiggy with this shit, like, with the CD.
Yeah, I think he definitely, because he's Senegalese, right?
I think Ghanaian.
Oh, really?
From Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying, like, he change it up and do the accent, but he's still funny. You know, like, you can't take it away from Micheal Blackson. He's funny. He's been relevant for years, and but he's not on Katt level, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Katt funny because Micheal Blackson, not recently been building a school in Africa. So he said, I gave him the best advice, and I told him to build a school in Africa, this and that and the third. So it's like it's like he studied, he did his like homework, and then came and he's just going at everybody. He's a genius.
And it gets to be a whole grouping of these guys. I got to come and talk to Shannon. I got to lay it down at the altar.
You know every comedian.
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin praying. This is the reckoning. 2024. The reckoning.
You watch it. You know every comedian that's been on my show. You watch.
He do his homework because Kirk Franklin was just recently on here.
Wow.
Every episode. Cause
No,
you know
that's not what you said. You said I know every comedian.
You know every comedian.
You're limiting me.
Oh, you watched every episode because you know things. You know things.
That's always where I'm trying to come from, whether it's comedic or otherwise. That's why even if you see me get arrested 10 times in a row on TV, as a fan of mine, you can be like, he finna be right out. Yeah, but they just said he didn't do it. He couldn't have. It's stupid. Why would he do something stupid knowing he got to come back and talk to us? Nah, they respect that every time it happens, I'm going to be free as a bird sitting out here talking to you about it, that it really was what I said it was. That's all.
You end up, you come down, you're in LA.
Yeah.
Now, I'm reading Katt Williams won Cedric the Entertainer's and Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Did you win that award, won Katt Williams? It's a simple yes or no. It's not a rhetorical question.
It's a question that probably should have been asked to Cedric the Entertainer.
I'm asking you. I got you here, though.
I know. I couldn't believe Cedric didn't get asked that question. You still a dude's joking and giving an award, and then 10 years later, you don't know nothing about it. Hey, but I promise you this.
What?
If he sees me again before he sees you, he'll be talking different when you see him. That's for certain. That's the difference. That's what these comics understand, is that I'm not doing nothing for clout. I don't even recognize clout. But eventually the Lord is going to let me and you be in one hallway. A lot of these dudes go. Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why?
Yes.
Because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. I'm always a physical specimen. And when you see me, I'm much, much bigger than you had thought. I have far less play in me than you would like. And I'm relentless. I'm out there. I'm still, to this day, I play 11 games of basketball with a 20-year-old. The record is 92-6. This is just in the yard, just to the rack, just because.
You work out, Katt? You work out, Katt?
Not to the gym.
You don't work out in the gym? You push-ups, sit-ups?
My whole life, it was just push-ups and sit-ups only. I would do like 100 push-ups a day. Just.
I thought you were going to say 1,000.
No. Because this is literally every day.
Right.
This is not for the gram. You know what I mean? Like literally 100 a day. And I would do push-ups, and then I tore both my rotator cuffs. And so it was only thanks to golf that I was even able to get my self back. I've been a golfer for quite some time. My short game is impeccable. I can't get you but 2 and some change off of the tee, but I'm still coming in for par guaranteed.
You playing for the tips?
No. I've found that you don't get anything for that. It seems very egomaniacal. They go, hey, Katt, for free, you can go further back. Hey, what? Wait a minute, does it still count the same? Hey, I'm up at the ladies' tee. Don't tell me my pronouns. On the golf course, I'm she, her, him, them, and they. whoever at the front tee.
I know we're joking. We're having a great conversation, but you did win the award. How did the award help your career? It had to help some, Katt.
Nope.
Yeah, come on, Katt.
I didn't remember it happened to you. Just said it. How can Cedric give you an award that was worth something? Everything Cedric and Ricky Smiley ever been in got canceled for not being funny. Ricky sat here and told you that they cut him out of every movie he did. They always had a reason. Like, that's why I'm funny, because I'm a happy person. I laugh all day long. I can't even imagine the misery of these bums. Just to not be good at what you do.
What kills me is his hands on his thighs. Every 5 minutes he's just
rubbing.
Just rubbing.
On one end, he doesn't insult certain people. On the other end, he's like the misery of these bums. And
Man,
like, wait, what?
So nonchalant about it.
Do not work hard at what you do, but have to act like you the best at what you do. It is crazy. It's crazy.
But they be touring. They be doing like 100 shows a year.
That's me. I don't run into none of them. That's what I'm saying. If you a Faison Love fan, you mean you've been a fan of him for 32 years, you still waiting on him to do his first special? You mean to tell me if Steve Harvey, your favorite comedian, you mean you've been waiting for him to do stand-up for 15 years now?
I mean, Steve got a lot of other...
DL's still out there. None of those irons matter to stand-up. Who cares that they wrote a placard for you to do Family Feud on? Like, you're successful because we're surprised you can talk for a living and it's entertaining that you're going to say some funny country things. But not a writer.
Right.
Not a writer.
How did you develop Money Mike and get it? I mean, everybody talk Money Mike. How did you come up with that and said, you know what? This is how he should dress. This is how he should talk. This is how he should look. This is the kind of whip he should ride. This is how he should talk.
So if you'll remember that was my first movie, just understand that what I did then, I've done with every single role, whether it was an Emmy-winning role or whether it wasn't, whether I was playing somebody homeless, whether I was playing a dirty vagabond on Atlanta, whether it was an eccentric guy in First Sunday, regardless of what the role is, the first thing I do is erase me from it.
Okay.
So anything that I would naturally do, that's what I'm not going to do because I'm playing a different character.
Playing the character. Okay.
Right. So I then create this person based upon real life circumstances. So I don't have to wonder what a pimp thinks because I've been in that position for a little while. I also worked manual labor for some time in my life, so I don't have a problem paying somebody that works. And I don't have a problem being a go-getter because I'm a go-getter. So I bring whatever I can to these characters. I was able to... the first week that I got the script, there was a pimp guy that used to be a pimp, but he wasn't anymore. He was a rapper now, and his name was Mac Minister. And he had been a pimp and was going to be a rapper. And I had never done a movie before. I was a stand-up and I'm getting ready to do the movie. And so I was able to craft what a real pimp was like, what was too much. I didn't want to be stereotypical.
Right.
I did the research. I saw how many times people played pimps and they were always... It was always something weird about them, right. I guess, because it's a weird job. You know what I mean? Right. And I wanted somebody that didn't seem like none of that he really thought it was a business and treated it like that. And so, you know, adding those levels to acting is what all actors do if they're not Steve or Cedric or Ricky. Like, you're trying to create a character. You can't just be Faison in every movie. Like, you're just gonna take your shirt off on every movie? Like, why does it say that in your script?
Man, let Big Worm live. Let him breathe, Katt. Let Big Worm breathe. Stall him out now.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
No, I ain't got no allegiance to the man. But you got to admit the role that he played. Big work. I mean,
bro, that is like, how did he craft that like together, bro?
You having
I
a
don't know.
natural allegiance to losers is unlike you,
Natural allegiance to losers, like.
bruh.
And also, he mentioned something about Faison Law was taking his shirt off. You seen the movie Money Talk?
Oh, I don't remember.
Was Chris Tucker? He when they went to jail,
Yeah.
yeah, he had his shirt off. I guess he was playing like a, that role in jail.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Big Perm and Friday now. You got to give him credit for the role now. Come on now.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If what you're saying is correct, why wasn't he in next Friday or Friday after next?
I mean, his role,
It wasn't good. Sorry.
There was a lot of people that appeared in the first one that weren't in the second one, Katt.
I'm just telling you why. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there's a news flash that there are reasons for things in a business.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, why did you bench D-Lo? He had 2 points. What are you talking about? Shut up. But I like him. Nobody cares about that. That's not what we're talking about. These are business conversations that deal with businessmen.
Right.
Right. When you're good at something, you should progress. The guys that are not as good, they should fall down by the wayside. That's natural.
So you believe if your talent doesn't support it, you should fall by the wayside, and the guys that have the talent and they get elevated, they should move.
No, that's what water says. That's what the universe say. The universe say the levels. Not I say. Who am I? I'm nobody. But I'm working every day as if I think that's what
should happen.
Is how it should be. And I'm choosing comedians that also write and work hard and don't steal other people's material. And I'm making sure that they all make $300,000 a season. And I'm making sure that they're not ever signed to me or my conglomerate. And that's why they're successful. No, you can work with me and still be an independent businessman, boss owner like you came in.
Right.
I don't need you to be subservient to me. That's those other guys that make you pay dues.
You said earlier that you rewrote a lot of what Money Mike was to say and how he behaved. So they allowed you the freedom, the liberty to ad lib. How much?
Would they allow you to just make an interception if didn't nobody talk about it? As a football player, if the ball come your way, can you just grab it? Can you make an interception anytime? Are you allowed to pick up any fumble? You can do any hustling, right? Oh, okay. Same here. Same here.
But here's the thing, though. Even as an offensive player, they might let me ad lib once I get a couple of years under my belt. They wouldn't let me ad lib as a rookie. That was your first movie.
I told you the conversation in my first movie, just because I am committed to laughs. The only way I made it past those 300 comedians, I didn't tell you this. What it required is I had to watch all 300 comedians 10 times a piece. I watched your set 10 times of you performing, whoever you were. And then I counted how many laughs you got every time you did these amount of minutes. So if you told me this comedian and told me he did 30 minutes, I could tell you that he got 26 laughs in that 30 minutes because I had done the numbers on everybody. So I didn't just say I was funnier. I knew I was funnier than the comic you liked. And I could tell you how many jokes funnier I was because that's how we judge stand-up. You do 15 minutes, I do 15 minutes. How do I know I'm funnier than you? Because you got 6 laughs and I got 16. I'm almost 3 times better than you, low-key boy. But I'm never going to tell you the formula. So you going to keep just going out there telling jokes, not understanding that psychologically, the audience by 10 years is convinced that I'm funnier than you. They just don't know why. Because I'm putting out more content, better.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm better than you, boy. But nah, he just broke down like the statistics of like comedy.
Yeah.
Because he was making an analogy with sports. You got 6 laughs, I got 16 laughs. Therefore, the number doesn't lie. I get more laughs than you, so therefore I'm funnier than you. That's a good way to put it, you know. So
Yeah.
so we're gonna stop it here, and then we're gonna finish the rest. But you know,
Sounds good.
Unveil Mindset pod, not pod, Unveil Mindset reaction.
Unveiled reaction.
We're out, and we're gonna come back with the rest and finish it. Keep supporting,
Bye.
subscribe,
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe.
Unveil Mindset.
Let us know your thoughts.
Leave comments,
down below.
likes, and then just let us know. We can have a chat in the comment, and then have some discussion.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. And
End recording on the screen.
trying to do it. Okay.